everybody, and welcome to this special Tuesday edition of Big Blue Kickoff live right here on Giants.com and the Giants mobile app. The large man to my left is Howard Cross. I am John Schmeelk, 201-939-4513, hashtag Giants Chat on Twitter. If you want to get in touch with us that way, you certainly can. Howard, Giants coming off a loss to the Minnesota Vikings in just gut-wrenching fashion. Though I will remind people, remember, it was tied when he hit that field goal. So we're still going to get an overtime afterwards, so we don't know necessarily what's going to happen in overtime. But that's a rough one. What I've been trying to think about is it kind of makes up for that Bullock miss from 47 in week 1, where he probably should have made that one. This one, probably not. So that's all I'm kind of doing the karma in my head a little bit.
Karma.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's indoors. I didn't know he could make one from 62 yards.
It's actually funny. Here's a story. And I was talking to Graham Gano in the locker room, and I said he was sitting there. I go after the game, not on mic, just chatting with him. Like, so Graham, did you think he was gonna make it? He goes, "Oh yeah, he has a big enough leg. It's indoors, and I knew he could reach." Whether or not it would go in, I wasn't sure, but I knew he could reach. And I asked him, he said his range was like 62 or 63.
Yeah, he hit the net. It didn't just go.
Oh, no, yeah, that thing would have been good from 65.
He hit the net. I was like, okay, all right.
Pretty good, right?
That was pretty good. Couldn't do anything but like, wow, that was good.
Now, and I'm going to say this, and, Giant fans tend to get mad at me after, some of these wins, and I'm not all that impressed. And you're like, John, how do you not get more excited over the win?
So funny.
Well, here comes the opposite. Howard, I thought this was one of the more impressive games the Giants have played all year, and let me explain why.
Okay.
They marched the ball up and down the field, over 400 yards of offense. They threw the ball really well. They beat man coverage. The Vikings actually played they were a zone team coming into this game. They played almost 30% of their snaps in man coverage in this game.
Okay.
Isaiah Hodgins did a good job against Patrick Peterson during the course of the game. And they were still tied in this game in the fourth quarter, despite the fact that they lost a turnover battle by 2, and they were still right in the game against a team that had one of the better offenses in football. That's the type of matchup that's given this team trouble at times this year against really good offenses. They were in the game. Now, obviously, disappointing they lost the game. Disappointed that they lost the game because in a lot of ways they beat themselves with those turnovers, mistakes, and takeaways. All disappointing. But in terms of overall performance moving forward, I think I haven't felt as confident as I do right now than after any game this year that the Giants could maybe get out of the first round of the playoffs. Seriously, because they had not shown me up to this time against a really good team, spare that Ravens game, and then that was some weird stuff at the end of that game, that they could hang with a really, really good team. But they did this week, and I think that's really encouraging we'll get to this in a second, hopefully get into the playoffs and get to play another really good team in the playoffs. Maybe the Vikings again, who knows, that the Giants can hang with a team like this and play a close game despite the fact that, frankly, they didn't play their best game in terms of protecting the football. They were -2, and they still had an opportunity to win the game at the end.
Yeah, I thought that, the defense played an exceptional game, finding the ways to get after Kirk Cousins. Even after Ojulari was out, I thought they still were getting after Thibodeau again, having a great game.
Dexter Lawrence was a machine.
Dexter Lawrence was a monster, making tackles all over the field, not just at the line of scrimmage, running back and getting guys in screens and catching them. I thought all that was great. Them being able to not necessarily shut down the best receiver tandem in NFL, but hold them a little bit, be in range.
Adam Thielen didn't do anything. He had one catch, and Justin Jefferson was really good. He got to 130 something yards, 140.
But it wasn't like he could have. I thought he could have torched us if he was free and if they gave him the chance.
He got to 133, but it took him 12 catches to get there.
So it was all like little catches.
His longest catch was 25 yards.
Yeah, and they were tackling right after catch. Wasn't a lot of yak yards on that. So
now T.J. Hawkinson had a nice game.
T.J. Hawkinson had a nice game.
And I'll tell you what's funny on that touchdown to him. I know there's been some criticism of the coverage. I just thought it was a great catch, to be honest with you.
He just high-pointed the ball when two guys were running for their lives, trying to make sure they were in position to knock the ball down. He high-pointed it. He's a lot taller than them, and it kind of showed. So I thought that was a good game by him, and they were hitting him, lighting him up too every time they got a chance to. So all things point to the defense being able to hold up against some of the better defenses, some of the better offenses in the league, because I think Minnesota's a pretty good offense. And the offense that the Giants kind of had, I think Hodgins has come along and made it It's been a difference maker in the offense. I think that's been big. It frees up Saquon because now all of a sudden you can't squeeze everybody down to be there for Saquon, because then you got two options on the outside plus a tight end who's catching the ball.
Yeah, and look, I think Evan Neal had another rough game at right tackle.
He just
seems very out of sorts right now, Howard. He's leaning a lot. It's not good.
Until he gets that knee 100% right. I know he says this right now. That's what he's going to look like. There's just the difference between what he was like at the beginning of the season, after he tweaked it once, and now he's after coming off of being hurt by it. You can see it.
Yeah, you can 100%.
You can see it. You can see him trying to be on one side to take the pressure off of it. So he's leaning one way, trying to protect himself a little bit, and he's the best option they have out there.
Danielle Hunter had a very good game out there. That was a problem for the Giants offense. They ran the ball pretty well when they did, but the Vikings, obviously they saw a weakness in the Vikings secondary, which frankly has been a weakness for them all year. That middle of the field was wide open. They attacked that. They took advantage of it. But I also think you saw the danger, and maybe danger is the wrong word, but I think, the Giants threw the ball, as much or if not more than they did in any game this league.
Yep.
This year, Daniel Jones finished with 42 pass attempts. They ran it just 21 times.
Wow.
And you saw, though, the danger of throwing it that many times, right? You had the strip sack. You had the interception. You had, when you don't have the best receivers, you might have some drops in critical situations. You also had the drop, by the way, by the defense by Cordell Flott on the interception that should have came up. So those are kind of the drawbacks of then going to the heavy pass game when it's not your strong suit, even against an opponent where it can work. Some things then ended up taking away from your chance to win.
Well, that I think probably the play that, as we talk about all these other plays, the play that probly bothered me the most was the block punt.
Oh, that was a huge play. Go ahead, talk about it.
The block punt puts them in position, although they do hold them. Did they score a touchdown or was it a field goal after that? Whatever it was points. If that play doesn't happen, the chances of the game being that close at the end may look a little different.
I believe that was the game-tying touchdown off of that.
Yeah, so
game-tying touchdown.
Yeah, so the block punt gives them a really super short field to get a touchdown off of. So that is probably the biggest play in the game. I know there's some drops and everything else, the strip sacks and whatever, but for whatever reason, you cannot have a block punt. You just can't.
And I mentioned how they were, +2 in turnovers. That technically doesn't count as one. So they
that is a turnover.
They were basically +3.
Yeah,
over the course of the game.
That's better than a turnover, because
it is
usually where you are on the field and you block it, that it gives you some, gives you great field position, and it gave them great field position.
100%. Cousins could have thrown an interception, but he didn't. Because again, Flock couldn't come up with the ball.
Yep.
The Vikings did not fumble the ball over the course of the game. So, again, I thought it was a good effort. I thought they played one of their, better all-around games of the year. I thought the offense had moments. I thought the defense had moments. But you're playing a good team, and we talked about it, Howard. They fight, and in these close games, one play here or there can take it either way. The Giants were on the right end of a lot of those earlier in the year. Now, later in the year, they haven't been on the right end of at least some of those.
You're playing a team, but you play a team, though, also that has won every one-score game.
Now 11-0.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
No, 100%. And the Vikings have consistently mid the plays when they've needed to in these close games. All right.
You got Jefferson.
Yeah.
You can find a way.
Yeah, he's pretty good. By the way, still Kirk Cousins for you?
No.
The Giants Huddle podcast. Make sure you go subscribe to it. It features a rapid reaction right after each game with one of our analysts. It was Madeline with Jonathan Casillas this week. We have the Papa's Perspective Giants Huddle. It wasn't up right before the show. I'm not sure if it's up yet, but it will be up shortly. Bob Papa talks to Kerry Collins about his big win against Peyton Manning back in the early 2000s. I'm trying to get Trent Green this week, who's doing the game for CBS.
Oh, Trent's
trying to get
nice.
him on the show. He's a really good dude. Yeah. Hoping to get him on the show to talk about Daniel Jones and the Giants heading into this Colts game. He's doing the game. It's a CBS game because it's an AFC team and an NFC team. And then we have our normal Friday podcast with a player interview. Working on a couple different players this week. And Bob Pop with Brian Dable and a preview of the Colts. And Howard, the good news, and this is why I know why Giant fans were disappointed. Christmas Eve, you want the win. None of these other teams won.
Yeah, everybody.
Washington lost. Detroit lost. Yeah. Green Bay won, and now they're kind of in the mix a little bit with that. And Washington lost. So the Giants have 2 games left on their schedule. If they win one, they're in the playoffs. If they don't win any, all they need is for 2 of those teams to lose 2 games at some point over the last, or those 2 teams to lose 1 game each over the course of these last couple games. Giants are in the playoffs. So they're still in the driver's seat here.
Unfortunately, Washington's probably going to lose a game. They've changed quarterbacks again, didn't they?
They're back to Carson.
Yeah, so that's not good.
Now, Dallas might not play anyone the last week, though, because they have everything clinched up.
Who's going to be the
Dallas is clinched in as the 5 seed, as the top wild card.
Okay, who's going to be the number 1 seed? The Eagles. We think the Eagles are.
It's not clinched yet. If the Eagles had to win 1 game for them to clinch that up.
And Minnesota is like right on their heels.
Them and the Minnesota and San Fran. Minnesota's 2 games behind Philly, and Philly beat them. So I believe Philly has already. If Dallas doesn't catch Philly in the division, Philly has the 1 seed. The only team that can catch Philly is Dallas, because they have the tiebreaker against Philly, because they have a better record in the NFC East, because Philly lost to Washington.
That's right.
This year.
Okay.
So that's the only way the Eagles can get knocked out of that number 1 seed, is if Dallas catches them. Dallas plays this Thursday night against Tennessee, who is just not doing very well right now. They're kind of falling apart.
Their quarterback's gone, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Tannehill and now Willis is in there, and he's just not ready to go.
No.
Washington, just to give people an idea, this week Washington has the Cleveland Browns at Washington, so that should be a close game.
Yeah.
You have the Giants obviously home against the Colts, and if you watched the Colts last night, boy, their offense is not very good.
They changed quarterbacks again.
Yep, but they're going to stick with Nick Foles now, I think, though.
Unless,
who knows, they could always go to Ellinger, but they said last night they plan to stick with Foles, but if the owner makes a phone call, who knows how that's going to work. Let's see. The other matchups this week, the Giants fans need to be aware of: Jets at Seahawks. So Giant fans have to wear their Jets green this week. I know they love doing that. Paul Dottino loves rooting for the New York Jets. He's going to really enjoy that.
He's going to blow a brain cell or something.
Vikings at Packers, which is an interesting game. The Packers somehow have gotten to 7-8 here, which is amazing.
Yeah, I think the Vikings blow them out.
Really? Blow them out?
Blow out.
Okay. And then the other game, and this not only impacts this impacts the NFC South more than does the Giants. Panthers at Bucks. If the Panthers win out, Howard, they will win the NFC South at 8-9.
That'd be bad.
Steve Wilkes, give him credit though. He's done a really nice job taking that team over, and so they've done a nice job. And then the other game, Giant fans got to keep an eye on are the Detroit Lions. They're hosting the Bears. So the Lions coming off that loss last week, but they're hosting the Bears this week. So those are the games Giant fans need to keep an eye on.
And when those teams lose, then it's the Giants are in.
If the Giants don't beat the Colts, they need two of the Lions, the Commanders, and the Seahawks to lose. 1 game the rest of the year.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
So the Giants are in great shape. But how about this? Don't worry about what other teams are going to do. Don't be sitting here on week 17
having a Kirk
praying
Cousins.
that the Dallas Cowboys are starting their guys against the Commanders, and Carson Wentz is throwing it against a bunch of practice squad guys that are in the secondary for Dallas.
That's funny.
Don't worry about any of that. Go out, beat a team that you are better than and more talented than in the Indianapolis Colts this Sunday at home, and get yourself into the playoffs on your own.
There you go.
I do not want to be sitting here with you next Tuesday going through tiebreakers and sitting here. Are they going to play? Are they going to play their guys? Are they going to play their guys?
Yeah,
Who's going to play in that game? Paul Dottino will be sitting here hyperventilating. I'll have to walk around with a paper bag all week. I don't want to deal with that. Go out, win this week, finish your own. Learn your lesson from 2 years ago.
Listen,
take care of your own family business.
It all sounds good. That sounds like radio talk to me. But like, let's see how the guys play. If everybody's pretty much healthy, you get a lot of bodies back. They have a great chance against the Colts.
Oh, I'm just talking selfishly, Howard. I just don't want to deal with it next week.
No, I don't want to deal with it
either. This week and be done with it.
It'd be nice.
I'm not saying they have to or they need to or they should, whatever. Just for our sake, and for let the fans have a week where they can relax a little bit. When's the last time the Giant fans had a week where they could literally put their feet up and say, "Oh boy, it really doesn't matter what happens this week.
Sound a little
We're
Paul
in."
Dottino-ish right now. You gonna be okay?
I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying I don't want to. Do you want to deal with Paul Dottino next week?
I didn't want to deal with him ever.
Well, I know,
so
but do you know how much worse he's going to be next week?
That's my boy, though. I love Paul. He's gonna be bad no matter what it is. If the Giants,
you know what Paul said on the plane to us? He goes, "The Giants lose to the Colts. you don't want to know me next week.
Oh, my goodness.
And if he's self-aware enough to say something like that, trust me.
So bad.
You want no part of that, dude.
He's so funny. I think, like I said, it's going to be an interesting game. I'm looking forward to this game. I'm really excited for getting to see it. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's a close game, the Colts lose. I feel bad for Saturday for saying that. I know Jeff Saturday for years.
He's a good dude.
He's a great dude. He's in over his head. I don't think
the Colts
blame him for taking the job. Can't blame him.
Well, someone offers you a head coaching job in the NFL. How do you say no to it?
8 weeks, so that's good money for 8 weeks. You got to take that.
And I'll say this too, Howard. Like, I don't think the Colts are capable of blowing a team out. I mean, they don't score enough points.
Well, I think this.
I haven't done my tape study. Just to give you an idea. Just to give you a very basic thing here. I'm looking for yards per game here, but they're near the bottom of the league in pretty much every offensive category.
The thing also is, can you figure out a way to rally them enough so that they will want to participate in the game? Because their season's over. Like, it's over now, and now it's just like, what are we playing for week in, week out? And are we a laughing stock because this guy is coaching us? Like, what? It's a whole lot of things that they got to be dealing with. You know, it's too much to think about. Unless you were self-aware and know that you're playing for your personal career, you may have a hard time.
28th in yards per game, 30th in yards per play.
And Jonathan Taylor's hurt, right? High ankle sprain.
Oh, he ain't playing.
Yeah.
No, he ain't playing. They giving up the second most sacks in football, 56.
Oh my goodness. Thibodeau's over there right now. He's stretching, right? He's in the locker room stretching right now. Hydrating. Oh my God. He's like, oh my God.
I mean,
Dexter Lawrence is like working. He's in the mirror doing his dance moves, trying to get ready for when he makes his play. It's a very interesting game.
Yeah, there's just. I'm trying to find something positive to throw at you.
Yeah, but listen.
Look, I was to say this. Colts have a good defense. Chargers have a good offense, and they shut them down last week.
Don't play down to their level. That's what it is. You just can't play down to their level. You got to make your plays and get off the field.
201-939-4513. 201-939-4513. Giant fans, don't miss out on the final home game at MetLife Stadium. Until maybe a playoff game. That won't be at home in the first round, but maybe, who knows what happens later on. But unlikely. But we still have one regular season to go. You want to go check it out? Limited seats are available. Go to Giants.com/tickets to find your game, which is the only game, and secure your seat. All right, let's go to the phones and start off with Jerome in Charlotte. He'll lead us off today. Jerome.
Hey, Jerome.
Hey, guys. I just want 2 quick questions.
Sure.
I was so proud of the way they played Saturday. They finally opened up the playbook. Daniel played, worth a contract. I was very proud of them, happy, even though we lost. But I just love what they was doing offensively for the most.
Now, Jerome, just remember, opening the playbook up is probably why you also had 2 turnovers on offense. So there's a trade-off there. You know what I mean? And that's what we've been talking about all year. You open things up, you risk sacks, you risk turnovers. So there is a trade-off, but to throwing 42 times.
Jones' fault. I mean, the tight end, I can't think of his name.
Bellinger.
He had the ball.
No. That was the fumble. Jones threw it behind Isaiah Hodgins on a crossing pattern right to Patrick Peterson. That was Daniel Jones' fault.
Yeah, and
that was. But
and you also got sacked in the pocket.
Yeah, but the ball was more spreaded. They couldn't just focus on Saquon the whole game. You know, they had to actually step back and play defense.
Okay.
And they also scored 24 points, which is basically where they've been most of the year, too. Yep. So it's not like they scored a bunch of extra points. All I'm saying is that, look, I love the fact they could throw in the ball. It was very encouraging. I'm 100% with you. But there are things that then negative things that happen when you do put the ball in the air that many times, too. Go ahead.
And the second one, I know you've been following the draft a lot, and I know we need another check down corner.
Mm-hmm.
We need a big receiver, to loosen up the offense even more. But I was thinking, if the quarterback falls down to the Giants, wherever we be, hopefully it be towards the end of the draft of the first round, who and where would you like him to come from?
What quarterbacks I like in the draft?
Yeah,
they won't
that
be
was
around.
that. I'm saying wishful thinking, or the Giants might even move up, considered if they, if they don't franchise.
Right.
No.
Well, I will say this. I think it's unlikely that they'll trade a lot of draft capital, move up as far as they would have to move to draft a quarterback. I think that's unlikely. And if they do pick around 20, between 20 and 25, which is where they would be if they get to the playoffs, and even if they get knocked out in the first round, hopefully they wouldn't, they would be picking in that 20 to 23 type of area.
So the guys that are going to be, I guess are going to be the guys, going to be the kid from SC, the one, the Heisman. Is he coming out this year?
He's not eligible yet.
Okay, then, so he's not eligible. So that means next year's guy is good. He'll be next year's guy.
Caleb Williams, and he'll be next year's guy. And then Drake May is the other guy who's next year.
Next year also. So the kid Bryce at Alabama.
Bryce Young, Alabama.
The Heisman pick a couple of years ago.
C.J. Stroud
from Ohio State. Not sure about C.J. I like him, but don't know if he's going to be the guy who slides the most.
I still think he's going to be a top 10 guy, though.
I don't know.
And by the way, I'm with you. I'm not 100% sure about him either.
I'm not 100% sure.
Will Levis is a guy that I know.
Kids out of Kentucky, you mean?
Yep. People love him because of his size, speed, athleticism. He's got a big arm.
Yeah, he's gonna be like he might be the third guy taken, even though I think Stroud's gonna slide some.
He might. I think that's going to be something we talk about all offseason.
Yeah,
Who's going to go first, Stroud or Levis?
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting.
And then the other one, by the way, Jerome, real quick, the one guy, and then I'll finish. I'll let you conclude. The one guy that declared, who's extremely raw, like really raw, but really talented.
This is a guy out of Florida, right?
Anthony Richardson. You hit it.
I would never draft him.
Talk about it. What do you? Why?
You got to be able. You see it. You're seeing it in San Francisco right now. Even though he got hurt this year, great talent. This guy's going to be the guy. But if you don't play, no one knows that you can play.
Trey Lance, you're talking.
Yeah,
about.
Trey Lance. There's no way. You can't keep drafting guys that you can't waste first round picks on guys that are just. I think he can play. Like he's so talented. He got so much upside. He's not,
I think he's slightly more pro-ready than Malik Willis, but I think they go into the same conversation.
Yeah, he's not Jackson. Everybody thinks
no, he's not Lamar Jackson.
Everybody thinks you're getting Lamar Jackson, and you're not.
Lamar Jackson was a much more proficient, polished passer, not runner, passer than Anthony Richardson is right now.
So I think that's what they think, and I'm like, so if he comes in the draft, like he should wait for another year, but I can understand coming out.
He already declared and said he's not playing in the bowl game, so he's coming out.
Yes, he's at somebody's quarterback school right now. He's not really working out doing runs and stuff. He's not trying to be the fastest guy. He's probably at a quarterback school.
And I've been thinking about this. And by the way, for you guys, people that are into the draft, and Jerome, thanks for the call. Jerome, do you have one more thing before you?
Well, I just want to add that I've been I don't know how mobile some of them are, but I've been watching the ones that's throwing had thrown for over 3,800 yards during the season. I see how they have potential as far as they arm. I just didn't know how mobile some of them are, and I just wanted to know your opinion since
I think
you do the scouting report once a week.
Yeah, I think the guys that are really super mobile, that kind of leaves them a little bit once they get to the NFL because people do hit you. I think Fields is doing a good job running the ball, but he's starting to get dinged up.
Shoulder injury,
shoulder here,
like that, yep.
Hamstring there. That starts to wear on you. Lamar Jackson, who is probably, when healthy, one of the best athletes in the NFL, is banged up. Somebody's getting to him, hitting him. Jalen, who is like a monster, squatting over 600 pounds.
Built like a running back.
And physical, built like a linebacker. That's a big physical dude. If someone falls on you and you're sideways, you get that shoulder bang. That's what he got right now. So, like, that, the ideal that you need a running guy, yes, I like a guy that can be mobile. That I need him to run all the time, that just puts him at risk. Josh Allen, we'll start to see it. I don't want to say this coming year.
I feel like it's coming though.
It's definitely coming because you only get so many chances to glance off of somebody. Like, and there haven't been any direct hits yet. And when they start hitting you direct, I mean,
and he gets hit direct a lot more than Lamar Jackson ever does.
So and I just look back at guys like Cam Newton. What was the kid's name for the Colts? Big kid.
Oh, Andrew Luck.
Big guys that like, they could take a beating. These guys are physical. and they both are out of the league a little earlier than they want to. Luck just gave up. Just like, hey, man, I can't do this to him. I'm not happy. I'm getting hurt. And as great as Cam Newton, as a specimen as he was, he couldn't. They were like letting people run free and hit him.
Now, Howard, what I do, the one thing, and I've grown, I kind of have adopted this over the last year or so. The one thing I do like about quarterbacks that can move a little bit, I feel like early in your career, when you're still figuring out the art of playing quarterback in the NFL, doing all the reads, getting the ball out quick, making the right decisions, being a little bit more mobile will give you a better chance of succeeding earlier in your career because you can get yards in different ways while you learn how to become that more of a traditional pocket thrower. So I think, for example,
like
Mac
Justin
Jones.
Fields?
No, that's exactly like Justin Fields, right? Like if Justin Fields couldn't run, he would be out of a job by now.
Yeah,
He'd be out of a job.
Maybe.
But and Mac Jones is the other side of that, right? Where he doesn't have a lot of mobility. So when the passing part of it doesn't work, he doesn't have anything else to kind of fall back on.
Yeah, I get it and I respect it, but
no. And by the way, I agree with the overall point about it doing that for too long.
Yeah.
It catches up with you. It
Bryce
absolutely does.
Young is going to wind up being a great NFL quarterback.
He ain't gonna run it.
He is going to be getting down. He's the one guy that all the guys you've watching, he can slide.
And that's the one thing about Bryce Young. You want to talk about? And by the way, if you like draft talk, draft season, it's on the Giants app, giants.com/podcast. Search for it on your podcast platforms. Another new episode coming out on Wednesday. We had one last week. We'll be going every week here. Tony Pauline, Eric Crocker, and I. Bryce Young by far is the best thrower, best
Passer.
art of passer. Thank
Yeah.
you. Art of playing quarterback. Quick release, quick decisions, good vision, gets it out fast,
arm angles,
accurate,
all that
arm
other
ang-
crazy
all
stuff.
that stuff. That kid, you could plug into an NFL offense today. He will be able to handle that as a passer. The problem is that he's 6 foot, 180 pounds.
And he'll get down really quickly.
He better get down, otherwise he's not going to be in the game very long.
Yeah, he knows. But, you can see it even in the games now when he plays and somebody gets to him. It's not like they yank him down. Like they touch him and he's like, boop, boom, I'm good. Safe.
Smart.
Safe.
201-939-4513. 201-939-4513. Oh, boy. Let's go to Doug in Glen Falls. He's up next. Hey, Doug.
What's going on, Doug?
Hi, Howard. I wanted to ask you a question about one play. I thought that the tight end pass interfered and got away with it. What are the big tight end? I don't remember if it was the first half or the second half.
Yeah, T.J. Hawkinson on a pass definitely tackled Julian Love on a pass that was going in his direction.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No. We don't.
Well, I thought he definitely pushed off. Like he didn't have any chance to jump for the ball because he was on the ground.
Yeah, but we can't. We don't know why officials see what they see and why they call what they call, or like they called a defensive line holding against the Minnesota
Williams.
Vikings.
No, they called one on Leonard Williams.
I know, but they call one on the Vikings, and they play it, and they don't play it back, but you can see it later where the guy's holding two guys to try to let the linebacker get through the hole. Then they call it on Leonard Williams, who just raw dogs the offensive lineman to get by him to go to make the tackle.
That was a bad call.
Like you're playing against one dude. So the guy throws the flag, the officials talk to each other, and it seems like someone should say, like, which two guys was he holding? But they don't. So I don't know, what officials are looking at. And let me tell you something. It is a hard job to be an official. I don't know how they do it running backwards, running full speed, how they check their hands and the feet and all this other stuff. And no less, you can call holding on every play. So I have no idea how they do what they do.
Well, I know that they'll make a lot of money. Why don't they have one more official?
You could put seven. You could put 7 more officials out there. They won't get it right. It just won't happen.
Everything goes so fast. Your view gets blocked when you're looking at certain things based on body position. It's very difficult.
There was a hit to the head that someone did through in the game. I guess against one of our guys, I believe, right? A guy caught the foul and they just hit him in the head. And it's like, okay, they're gonna throw a flag on that. No flag. So like nothing. I have no idea. Look, I know they're certain games when they come out in the preseason, they're like, we're gonna do big emphasis on this. They try to do the big emphasis. I think Tua getting a concussion early and then they didn't do anything about it and got a second concussion. Then all of a sudden, every quarterback sack was a roughing the passer. I don't know why or how, or I'm not in officials meetings, and I don't want to be in official meetings. But it's a tough thing for them to call. And like every game that you go to or that you're watching, and if a play goes against you, I think we had a game recently that they won, the Washington game, where they pushed Slayton out of bounds, just literally pushed him out of bounds. We're screaming and yelling like, I can't believe it. Why didn't they call that? Then the last play of the game, Holmes tackles the receiver.
You're right.
He didn't knock the ball down. He tackled him, and like they didn't throw the flag. I'm like, I guess we got our call back. Like you just don't know what it's going to be
And
ever.
That's why all you can do is play through whatever gets called or what doesn't get called, and try to overcome it if they go against you. If they go in your favor, smile and be happy about it. That's all you can do.
That's the best you can do. That's why officials jog off the field after the game. Like, I gotta get out of here, man.
Let's go to Len in Columbia, Maryland. He's up next. Hey, Len. Merry Christmas, buddy.
Hey, how you doing? Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas.
And hopefully Sunday afternoon at about 4 o'clock we'll be
Happy
yelling
New Year.
Happy New Year to everybody.
That would be really good. Except I'm going to be wet. I think it's going to rain.
Oh, is it supposed to rain
Yeah,
on
it
Sunday?
looks like yeah. Maybe not into the afternoon, Howard. But I think we're going to get some. I think we'll get some wet weather.
Yeah.
Well, opportunity missed on Sunday, but the good news is we got another opportunity this Sunday. Wow, big game. Big one in a long time, John.
Yep.
Big one in a long time.
Winning, you're in, man. Biggest since 2016.
Okay. You know me. I'm going to give you the keys to victory.
Go for it.
All right, man. This is it, Daniel. Get us over the finish line. We're going to find out on Sunday whether Daniel has it. Capital I, capital T.
I think.
Don't ask me for a definition.
No,
Don't ask
Len,
me for a
I'll be
definition.
honest with you. I don't think Daniel needs to be it in order to beat the Colts on Sunday.
I think Daniel was it last weekend, and everybody else didn't pull through.
Look. If he's going to give us that stat line, it's got to be in a win.
I promise you, Len, they are not throwing the ball 42 times against the Colts next week.
Well, I'm just saying, whatever the stat line is, John,
Right.
at the end of the day, finish. Get us over the hump. You're the quarterback. You're the most important person out there.
Okay.
Saquon Barkley. Howard, the old John McKay line about O.J. Simpson when asked about the game plan. Student body left, student body right, student body up the middle. We're going to ride Barkley to victory. Ride Saquon to victory. The third one, the key one, senior leadership. Howard, you probably know better than anybody, but, man, I want to see guys like Jihad Ward in that defensive huddle as much as possible. I'm not suggesting we take snaps away from certain people, but I'm suggesting I want Ward in that huddle. I just want senior leadership out there. I want Landon Collins to take snaps away from McFadden. I want to see Tony Jefferson on the field. You win with seniors, and I want my senior guys out there.
Now, I'm assuming you mean seniors like in college, not like senior citizens, right?
Well, no. When I say senior, I mean guys who've been around.
I got
guys
you.
who've been
I'm
around.
just going to
Yeah, I know. Okay. I mean, guys who've been around. I want the veterans out there. I like Ward's attitude. Howard probably does too. I want him in that defensive huddle. I want him in that defensive huddle. He's going to make a difference.
Well, we got to see where Aziz Ojulari is. You might see him in that huddle an awful lot if Ojulari can't play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Howard, one.
Go ahead.
Can I say Howard? One more point, if I may. I'm going to accept your assessment of Evan Neal at this point as the best option that we have. You're probably right about that. But I just want to say, and I don't want this to happen this season, but, we don't have to wait 4 years to move Evan to guard. We can do this if we believe that that's the better position for him. Hey, John, I'll look for you on Sunday. I'll try to stop by if it's not too wet before the game.
Sounds good, Len.
Hey, guys, thanks for taking the call. Let's go, Giants. This is it, man. This is it, Howard.
All right.
Have a great week, Len. Hopefully we'll see you at the game.
Well, as far as having like Daniel, I think Daniel did everything he should have done last week. I think that the defense needed to make one more stop. One more stop. Game is different. Punt team Daniel's not punting the ball. He's not on special teams. That let him down. And then, some drops in the secondary as well as drops on the offense. So it just happens. I think Daniel got shook when he had that strip sack fumble coming from his weak side, and he didn't see it coming because he thought it was picked up.
That was in the first quarter.
Yeah, and then it took him a few seconds to get his bearings back together and okay, I got it. It's going to be okay. As far as Evan Neal goes, like I said, he didn't have a brace on when he started the season. He was playing pretty well. I think with the brace and everything, I can see he is struggling to get himself down, to stay down in a position. I'm sure he's out there fighting. And, it was kind of like the same thing Andrew Thomas had his first year. Was playing on a bad ankle, and he just played through it.
First 2 years, really.
Yeah, I'm going to play through it. And if there's somebody else that they think they can put in there that can help him or to get him, let him get some rest on it, it'd be great. But these guys are warriors, man. And the only thing I can tell you is that you have to protect them from themselves. Saquon, I would love to see Saquon be the focal point of the game and have him student body right, student body left, if that's effective. But that's going to be an interesting part of the game.
And the Colts have a good front too.
Yeah.
Like, they have a pretty good defense.
They go against good linemen. I don't know why they don't play better defense or better offense. And then last but not least, Jihad Ward. I like Jihad Ward. He's a phenomenal player. But if Azeez Ojulari is available and can play, do not take that child off the field. That boy can play.
Maybe on some rundowns, or on early downs or short yardage and stuff like that. But if
he's
it's a passing situation,
he's going to be in
needs to be on.
No, he's going to be in there. He's in there on passing situations too. He's in the packages and stuff. But man, Azeez Ojulari is I know that he's on a pitch count basically, but man, when he's in, he is on fire.
It seemed like he was finally getting off that pitch count. He was back long enough, and now they might be back on the pitch count again.
Yeah. That's why he started his career on a pitch count.
Yeah.
He's a difference maker.
The Giants' official connected TV streaming app, Giants TV, brings original video content and game highlights on demand and direct to Big Blue fans. Giants TV is free on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and the Giants mobile app. Pearson, when you do your chapters, you can just write 108 Daniel Jones. Let's go to Charlie in Portland, Maine. Charlie, how are you? It's almost been a month, man.
Where's Charlie been?
Hey, guys.
What's going on?
Cross.
What's happening?
Hey, Howard.
Merry Christmas, man.
Merry Christmas. What's happening?
Hey, Felice Polydots, you guys.
Police I got it.
You got it?
Took me a second. So what's happening?
Hey, I've been busy on Twitter Spaces and just Christmas, so I haven't had a chance to call too much. But let me just break down this game, the Vikings game. So, first of all, you can't have Jones throwing the ball 42 times. What happens is turnovers. He threw an interception. He fumbled the ball. That's what happens when he throws for more than 20 times. And the other thing is that on, I think it was Pro Football Focus or somebody, turnover-worthy plays. You know how many Jones has had this year?
I have not looked at the rankings. Okay, but Joey, that's actually a pretty good ranking based on other quarterbacks. I think I'd have to check it, but
no, it's not. 18. There's only two quarterbacks that has more than him, and that's Geno Smith.
There's no way.
And I think at 25, yep. And the other one was Tua. I think he had 19.
So you're saying because he had turnover-worthy plays, but he didn't have turnovers, that they're saying that.
Well, the percentage of turnover-worthy plays turning into turnovers is 74%. Jones's percentage was only 44.
Well, Charlie, hold on. I'm looking right now at turnover-worthy play rate, right? So this takes into consideration the amount of turnover-worthy plays per dropback, right? Okay.
I guess.
Okay, no, I'm not asking you. I'm telling you.
He's looking at it. He's looking at it.
I'm going to list the quarter. No, hold on.
You're going to be in the weeds.
No. I'm only going to list the big names.
Okay.
Charlie, these are the players that have a higher turnover-worthy play rate than Daniel Jones. This is turnover-worthy plays per dropback, per play. Okay, so this takes number of plays into consideration. Heineke, Josh Allen, Justin Fields, Tua, Matt Ryan, Geno Smith, Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray, Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, Derek Carr, Trevor Lawrence. Those guys all have a higher turnover-worthy play rate than Daniel Jones. Kirk Cousins has an identical turnover-worthy play rate to Daniel Jones. So he's kind of right in the middle of the league. Of the 43 qualifying quarterbacks that are on my list, he ranks 23rd. So he's pretty much right in the middle of the league.
Listen, Charlie.
Go ahead. Howard.
Before you go into the whole Daniel Jones.
And by the way, Josh Allen has 29 turnover-worthy plays this year. So there are about 11 guys ahead of Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones doesn't play defense, and Daniel Jones doesn't play on special teams.
At least get the stats right, Charles, please.
If we don't have
hold
on, just listen. If we don't have the mistake,
were right.
No, they're not, Charlie. I'm on PFF.com. You said there were 2 players with more turnover-worthy plays than Jones. There's 11.
All right, but guess what? John? How many times does Jones throw the ball compared to Allen and compared to?
That's why
Smith?
Charlie, do you understand what rate means?
Please.
Per play. That's per play. Okay. So that's included in it. That's what turnover-worthy play rate
That's
means.
Still pretty bad,
no,
John.
middle of the league. He's better than Josh Allen.
Again, Charlie.
I'm not telling you he's a superstar. I'm just telling you he's in the middle. Go ahead, Howard. I'm sorry. I'll shut up now.
When you look at the screen and you see that Charlie was wrong, just let it go. Just let him. It's fine. You can't look at it and look it up and then go crazy.
But even after I told him he was wrong, he claimed he was right.
But anyway, in the last game, Charlie, if they don't block the punt and the punt goes down, they may not score.
Giants probably win the game.
Giants probably just win the game.
But if Jones didn't throw an interception on the Vikings' 18-yard line, we would have scored 3 to 7 points. If Jones
hold on, Charlie.
A drive,
the if game.
Here he goes, the if game. If Daniel Bellinger doesn't fumble going into the end zone, we scored a touchdown there too.
But Jones was part of the turnovers.
Oh no!
You can't deny that.
So this is what you're going to do. So this is how you like to do it, Charlie.
The Bellinger play wasn't on Jones at all.
All these other plays that are happening in the game, it doesn't matter. That are causing.
No, I didn't say that.
Yes, that's what you're saying.
Everybody whitewashes and gives Jones
Are you
listening
to yourself? Are you listening to yourself?
Charlie, I said that. Charlie, I literally said that to the first caller of the show.
The first caller of the show, we complained about it.
But let me say one more thing.
Please.
The other thing is we always kicking 100,000 field goals when we should be making touchdowns. Whose fault is that? That's on the offense, and Jones is part of the offense.
Charlie, I have a question for you, Charlie. Do you know what the Giants' red zone touchdown rate is this year among offenses in the NFL?
I don't know, 75%.
They are 8th best in the league in terms of scoring in the red zone this year.
It's not
8th.
Yeah, how many times?
That's not because of Jones, though.
Yeah, that wasn't the point you made. You said when they get in the red zone, they don't score. That's
if you're 5 times in the red
again.
zone and you get 3 of them, you know that rate looks good.
Your reasoning, Charlie, is off today. You didn't do very well in your research.
Off today?
Yeah.
Hey, look, all I'm saying is Jones is still the same turnover person that he's been, except this.
Charlie, I have a question for you.
He's been fortunate not to have him become turnovers. He's still doing the same thing.
Charlie, I have a question for you. I'm going to bring up the leaders here, and I'm going to ask you a very simple question.
All right.
Right now, of quarterbacks, and again, I'm going to use.
It's going to be really bad, Charlie. You're in trouble.
I'm going to use a rate stat here.
That's why I'm not saying anything.
Oh God!
Interception percentage. Okay, what that means is number of interceptions you throw divided by your number of passes you've thrown. All right, so this takes into consideration your pass attempts and number of interceptions you've thrown. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Question
Jones
for you.
What
do you think Daniel Jones's interception percentages this year? What do you think it is?
Well, he's probably number 1 or number 2.
1.1%. Best in all of football. Interceptions per pass attempt.
How many touchdowns has he had? He's worse in the NFL of any quarterback.
That wasn't the point you were making.
Yeah, well, you don't bring up the other half of that.
Well, Charlie, I'm responding to your points. Make a decent point, and I won't refute it. You're bringing up points that aren't accurate. You said he doesn't throw interceptions because he doesn't throw enough passes. Well, I just told you he throws fewer interceptions per pass attempt than any.
10-yard passes,
okay,
John.
That's a different argument. If you want to make the argument that he doesn't throw the ball down the field enough and he has fewer interceptions because of that, that's a fair argument, but that's not the argument you made.
If you put Zach Wilson on this team, how would he do,
Yeah.
Charlie? Zach Wilson.
I don't know. Would he do better than Daniel Jones?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Oh, Charlie!
I said I don't know.
No, goodbye. I'm sorry. I can't. That's too much. That's too much.
So
That's too much.
The annual Charlie call. The Twitter's gonna love
too
Charlie.
much.
Charlie was wrong.
Zach Wilson?
Well,
Charlie-
at the end, you were just disappointed.
Charlie was.
and Howard set him up for it too. Howard did that on purpose just to destroy his credibility.
Charlie just messed up all the stats.
And look,
And you're
again,
like went in the weeds with him. I'm like, don't go in the weeds for Charlie.
No.
It's just-
Look,
it's
I
just
don't.
so-
Hey, look, people can have their opinions. When they start making up facts, I'm gonna get annoyed because you. And look,
But
and again,
he always makes up facts.
well, and that's why I get annoyed. But look, again, if you want to say Daniel doesn't have to throw a lot of interceptions because he doesn't throw the ball down the field a lot, there's a lot of short, easy passes. Okay, I can buy that conversation. That's okay. That has merit behind it, but that's not what he said.
That's not even a real conversation. We had one receiver for most of the season, and now
correct.
now we
That's
kind of
also
have
correct.
two, and now it's looking a little bit better as we have two receivers. Things look a little different. But as far as people calling up and trying to like go, Daniel Jones is a turnover machine. And I'm like, if you get hit that much, you should turn it over. I mean, but that's just me. You put him on, like I said, you put him on some teams with some receivers and a running game and a decent line, like a few teams. You put him in San Francisco. I think they're still a good team. Put him on the Jets. They got a lot of receivers and a line and everything else. Put in places where and again, not beating on our guys and stuff, but we are lacking in a couple spots. We just are. So he's doing a really good job for what he has to work with.
And again, it's going to come down to length of contract and price of contract in the offseason. This is going to be a business deal.
I can't do the speculation of his contract.
No, we're not doing that.
There's just too many people
we're not
that
doing that.
need to be signed this offseason. I'd love to go sit and listen to it and watch how they do it all, but this is a
Why don't you walk upstairs and get some information for us?
reclamation project at best when it's trying with this what do you call it? Roster.
Let's
It's a
go to-
reclamation process.
All right. Brian in Virginia also wants to talk about Daniel Jones. Brian, what's up?
Oh no.
Hey,
Hey, what's
how you
happening?
guys doing?
Very good.
Brian, we have set a very low bar for you here, so I'm hoping you can step over it.
No, I'm actually. Here's the funny thing. Okay, so I have two comments and then a question. I'll take off the air.
Yes, sir.
But one, every time I'm thinking something, it seems like Howard says it right after I'm thinking it.
There you go.
You know, the first thing I thought about with the Giants and the Colts was just don't play down to the level of your competition.
Yep.
You know, this is something. This is a team they need to just handle their business against and then just go. The second thing, I honestly don't know what people are looking for with Daniel Jones. To me, he's actually proved that he belongs here. So, and I'll tell you what Bill Parcells used to say about Sims. These fans that have something to say, they're not going to appreciate him until he's gone.
Yep.
So they should think about that.
And again, Brian, in fairness, let's not put Daniel Jones in Phil Simms' category quite yet. He hasn't accomplished what Phil did or anything like that.
But it has something to do with it. It's the same thing they do
I get it.
with Eli.
Yeah.
Eli this and Eli's
And
the
dude,
worst.
by the way,
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
It isn't just football. Look what Nick fans did to Patrick Ewing at the end of his career. And since Patrick Ewing's been gone, they've been literally the worst franchise in the National Basketball Association.
Exactly. The grass is always greener, and that's all I have to say about Jones. I think he's done what he has to do here. And then the third thing is, and this is just a question I'll take off the air.
Sure.
Where do you think we have the best opportunity to improve in the draft?
Ooh.
And I'll take your answer off the air.
I would say, I'm trying to think of the draft strengths here. I would say corner and wide receiver. Or maybe the linebacker. I think those are I know you probably only wanted one, so I'll cop out.
I don't know if there's that many great wide receivers. We're going to see what they run.
No, but I still think you can get one in the second round.
Yeah, you probably get somebody.
And I'll tell you,
pretty
do you know who I just watched today who I was really impressed by? Jordan Addison, the receiver from USC who was with Pittsburgh
Yeah.
the last couple years.
Yeah.
he's only 6 foot. He's only 175 pounds. So he's kind of like Devonta Smith sized, kind of in that area.
Yeah.
But boy, he is smooth. He's got really good hands. He's fast. He runs good routes. I don't know if he's going to get to the Giants at 23 now, because out of all the guys I've watched, he's probably my favorite wide receiver.
Yeah.
But he's a safe player. I don't know if he's going to be a superstar, but he is going to be a good NFL wide receiver.
Yeah, there's a couple guys. I think the guys they may be at TCU or Kansas. They're really tall.
TCU. I have not watched. I think that Quentin Johnson sounds right. I have not watched him yet. I was going to watch him later.
So those guys are receiver at DB.
There's some
best
corners
DB
early.
Corners early.
There's a kid from.
I think a kid from Georgia.
Gonzalez, Oregon, I think is one maybe.
Yeah.
Kaylee Ringo is the Georgia kid.
Kaylee Ringo is the Georgia kid, and then I just don't know. I just don't know who's really showing up at corner. Linebacker, no, that could be a spot.
The Clemson kid, that Trenton Simpson, who's really fast.
Yeah, that could be a spot. And they got a kid, the inside backer at Georgia, who could sideline to sideline. He's going to be a really big time player.
Christian Gonzalez is the Oregon kid, by the way, at corner.
Yeah. Then who else? There are going to be a few guys.
There's a kid out of Arkansas, Drew, not Drew Stanton.
The kid Tutu, whatever his name is, from Alabama. The inside backer went from Tennessee to Alabama. If he's coming out this year, he's probably going to be a high draft pick.
Hand me that little black book there, electronic book there. Thank you.
Then there is, who else is a linebacker? I mean, there are going to be some players. I think there's going to be some really nice interior linemen too.
It's actually a very big person up front type of draft.
Yeah, the interior linemen are going to be pretty big in this draft as
Penei
well.
Sewell's younger brother, Noah Sewell.
Okay.
Out of Oregon is coming out. There's another guy.
Okay.
Off the top of my head, Drew Sanders out of Arkansas is the other kind of. He's long and he's fast. And
receiver?
when you ask, no, he's a linebacker.
Linebacker. Okay.
And when you ask Wink Martindale what he wants out of his Mike linebacker, he wants fast guys and he wants long guys. That's what he wants.
They want to bring back my guy from Bama that's let the Jets down. What's his name?
Mosley.
Mosley. Yeah. They want Mosley again. Everybody's looking for Mosley in the draft. So there'll be some guys out there. It's going to be interesting.
They want a middle linebacker that can run, that's for sure. All right, let's see if we can squeeze in one or two more calls here. 201-939-4513. Roy is in Charleston. Roy, what's up?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Great.
Very good, very good.
It was good. And John, the first time this past Saturday I got to listen to, I was working and I got to listen to Bob Papa and Howard on the radio. And
Carl.
That's the first time. And Carl, yep. And the first time I have ever heard the broadcast on the radio, and it was fantastic. They do an amazing job.
Yes, they do.
Kudos to you guys.
Thank you.
Loved it.
Thank you very much.
And it's nice to hear. It was really nice to, you watch it on TV, but it's nice to hear the hometown, the hometown crew calling the game. So anyway.
Yeah, and Roy, by the way, what you could do, and this is for all Giant fans out there listening, if you find the stream of the broadcast, whether it's on Sirius, you have NFL Plus, or you're streaming it on WFAN, however you do it, if we're behind the TV call. So if you get going, you pause the TV, you wait for Bob to say the opening kick, you just hit play, you sync up your stream with the TV, then you can watch the game with the home radio broadcast on. So if you want to try to sync it up, that's how you do it.
Fantastic. I'll try that next time. That's great. I was thinking about what I was listening to today and yesterday, and Giants fans have to realize where we were last year and where we are today. And I think we're forgetting the big picture. Were we 4-12 last year?
4-13, right? Because there was 17 games, right?
I don't do the math like that, so I don't know.
Well, yeah, I know. I do the same thing. But, here we have the ability, if we take care of our own business, to be in a playoff game. We don't know how far that goes, but we've come a long way. And, you look at this team that's been put together that Gable and all the crew have had to work with, and they've schemed. They've used the talents of the men that are on the football team to be where we are. And I think we need to. I think I listen to Charlie and I love him to death. But Daniel Jones has brought us a long ass way, and let's not forget that. And so and we're a little banged up too. We lost Shepard, and so we've come a long way, and I think we need to just kind of take a breath and go, you know what? Let's see how far this team can take us, because next year is going to be very different. And I think that next year, if we don't go very far this year, I think next year, as we continue to build on what the foundation of this team is for this year, it's going to be a good season for next year.
Hey, look, Roy, Roy, just real quick, I'll say this too.
Yeah.
Improvement's not always linear either, right? You go back when Joe Shane first showed up and Brian Dable showed up to Buffalo. They made the playoffs their first year. The next year, they dropped down to like 7-9, 6-10, and then they built up again after that. And you go from last year to this year. If Daniel Jones plays every game last year, he never goes out, they probably win 6 or 7 games. If Saquon Barkley's not hurt for half the year, they probably win 1 or 2 more games. And then the records kind of look similar. So things can just change. And by the way, how about Andrew Thomas missing all those games last year? He's been healthy all year. Yeah. So, you put all these things together and, you think, last season was such a disaster. But you change those things, and all of a sudden, maybe they win 6 or 7 games last year. So it's just you never know. To your point, you never know year to year how these things are going to go. Just try to improve the talent. The schedule next year, by the way, is going to be tougher. You're playing the NFC West. You're playing the AFC East. Much better conferences in the AFC South and the NFC North. So it might, who knows? I'm not making predictions now. You don't know what the roster is going to look like, what the conference will look like. But there's a chance you might take a small step back next year too, and that's okay.
Well, and the perfect example is look at the Rams.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know. Kudos to Lance. Every week is so different. We just don't know. And that's the beauty of the NFL. Yep. So, anyway.
Thank you, Roy.
Merry Christmas to you guys. Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
You too, my friend. Good stuff, Roy. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, I've been saying it all year. Like you look at Green Bay, how they had to struggle all year long. Look at Tampa, where they are all year long. The Rams, of course. Russell Wilson and Denver, like holy smokes!
I mean, that is a dumpster fire.
Yeah, like we just thought that Seattle would on the other end.
Howard, if I would have told you before there that Geno Smith and the Seahawks would be better than Russell Wilson and the Broncos, you think I'm crazy?
Yeah, we would. You just don't know. So it's everything that you think and believe can change in a minute. So just keep watching. Unless you're watching Kirk Cousins and still Kirk Cousins.
Man, at one point in the offseason when we have Jan and we have time to get into the weeds.
We can get in the weeds on Kirk.
I am gonna dig into your Kirk Cousins weeds.
Okay.
Jason in Maine will wrap us up today. Hi, Jason.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Very good.
A question: have you guys started like a petition in the state to try to force Charlie to move out or something like that, or no?
No. I haven't heard him on that for a while. So.
No, it actually has been a while since he's called. Jason, what's up?
Hey, I just had an idea. I wanted to know what you guys thought of it, and then I had a question for Howard.
Okay.
I know we've called a lot about Kenny Golladay. It's just my idea is, and I don't know what the Giants will do against the Colts. I'm hoping we can beat them, and I'm just thinking if we did beat them, I don't think they can go any further, right? They would pretty much solidify the 6th spot.
Giants cannot catch Dallas with the 5 spot. That's correct.
Yeah, we're kind of locked in.
Right.
But the Giants could still slide down to the 7th spot too.
Yeah,
so I think that could theoretically, depending on what other teams do, that could still be a. No, you know what? No, if the Giants win this week, I believe they do clinch the 6th spot.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
So
okay.
All right.
So I was just thinking if they had that situation. Do you guys think it would be a good idea, maybe just to try and get Golladay going, maybe start him against the Eagles, have some plays designed for him, maybe see if he can make, multiple plays and maybe get him back into the swing of things? I just wonder what you guys think of that idea.
I think that train has left the station.
It's not even that.
You think so?
I just think that, and this is just my opinion, and I don't know Kenny well enough to ask him or talk to him about it or anything. But I think Kenny, when he came here, he was coming off a hip injury, and the get off and everything that he had before the hip injury just may not be there for him. And it's no fault of anyone's. Just rehabbing and trying to get it back. Some injuries affect you differently for longer periods of time. And like I think that injury is still with him, whether he wants to admit it or not. Because he's a different looking player, running routes, his explosion, his cuts, everything. He just looks a little different.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So my last question is for you, Howard. When your team is out of it, like if you're mathematically out of the games or out of the playoffs, you got a game or two left, especially if it's on the road. Do you find it was hard for like teammates, even yourself, to maybe get up for those last couple of games?
I'm probably different than a lot of players because in my view of it, I was always playing for my job. So, like, I looked at every opportunity to play as an opportunity to show, put something else on film so that people could be like, man, this kid's really playing well. Like, to grade out the highest during the season where you grade out an 85 to 95, if you could, 100%, week in and week out, no coach would allow you to grade out at 100%. But, you can do everything you can every week. So when you step out or step away from the game, when they're going back and doing their reviews, they're looking at your tape and looking at everything you did, and they're like, wow, like no matter what's going on, he's playing hard. Because we, I had, went to 2 Super Bowls, had like a bunch of playoff appearances, I think, but we weren't great every year. So every year, you go to work in the off season, you get yourself ready to go, and no matter what the season looked like and how bad it was, when they go back and look at the tape, they're not talking about you on the tape because you didn't do this or you didn't do that. They're like, good job, Howard. You got to follow his block. Good job, Howard. Great route. You got to hold up blocking so you can get the ball out on time. It's got to be something like that. If you're not thinking that way the whole time, you won't be in the league long. That's just how it is. When they evaluate at the end of the season, they're evaluating everything. I mean, I think Coach Fassler said all the time, like, hey, they're not just evaluating me, buddy. They're evaluating you. So if they want me to leave, it's going to be a bunch of you leaving with me. So the doors are going to be held open.
He said that to you guys?
Yeah, he said that before. Yeah. He said,
and by the way, when it happened, he wasn't wrong.
And when he said, when they take me out the door, I'll hold it for the rest of you who's coming with me. So you better get it together, and no matter what, keep fighting.
Okay. Well, hey, thanks, guys. I hope you have a good Happy New Year.
I hope so, too.
You too. Appreciate the call. Howard, this was fun, man.
As always.
Did you have a good Christmas?
I did. Got to hang out with my daughter. We had a little steak, a little lobster. We had fun.
When is Little Howard coming into town?
I don't know. He's got the bowl game Friday. I think he's going to be down with his mom for a day or two. Then he said he's going to come back before he goes to school. So I'll see him.
Excellent. For Howard Cross, I'm John Schmeelk. Thanks for joining us on another episode of Big Blue Kickoff Live. We'll see you tomorrow with Paul and Russ at 12:30 when we're back with you then. See you then.